Well, there's no time like the present. Why don't I just take this beautiful sunny day in between rainstorms and do the compression test spark plugs on this. Alright, I'll show you how to do a compression test on an old, any car really, but let me get you guys set up here. Alright, here's what we need. We got fender covers, check. Mike's grip mat, check. Piece of cardboard. Put your plugs in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chevy. We took this one out the other day. I think I showed that in the video. Actually looks a little cleaner than it did the other day. I'm sure it's not going to focus, but sorry about that. When I get a second hand, we can play with that. So I'm going to pull all my plugs, put them in here, and then I got some new ones, and we got a gapper to check the gap. And all right, let's do this.
I can get a new tires like this.
Remember this thing, guys? We're going to get some new sneakers and wheels put on it.
Yeah.
It got painted. I don't think I shared the video yet. I took video the other day. But yeah, this thing came out nice. It's a little, it's like a darker gray than the, right?
Yeah,
the
like
blue?
Gray.
Bluish?
Green.
Used to be like a blue or something, yeah. But what do you got, BBS wheels?
Yeah, BBS, baby.
It's got the BBS wheels for it, and tires.
Brand new.
And,
see if I can open up to see it.
It's gonna be nice.
This one is open, I think. Yeah, check it out.
Gonna be nice. They're a BBS knockoff, right? Because BBS are expensive.
BBS knockoff. I want to spend like a $1,500.
We're not millionaires here.
Yeah. Well,
Look at those.
With the lip.
It's gonna be nice.
2-inch lip.
The gold.
You know? Yeah. And
Gold, bro.
Yeah, and we're gonna put it. We're gonna put slick tires. Slick tires.
You're gonna put some. All right. That was a pain in the ass. Do you think header manufacturers like work with the engine they're putting them in? There's a spark plug behind those. I can only get it with a wrench. Some of them plugs were loose, some were tight. And this side, the number 1, I thought would be the easiest. It was inaccessible too. But I'll loosen this up so I can maneuver in here. Oh, too loose. Hello. Anyway, so yeah, this one might just be PB Blaster all over that. I don't know. I gotta look at that a little bit. But that one is the cruddiest, number 1. The rest are maybe just worn. If I was burning oil, that could be oil too. I gotta refresh my memory on my spark plugs. They're just old and shitty. Obviously, I do know this thing burns oil, so she smokes out the tailpipe. It is getting better though. I did add some additive. I've been driving it. I put some zinc additive in it because I think this would have had, it's got the flat tappet cam, and oil just doesn't have zinc anymore. So that's advisable for old cars. But I got the compression gauge, and I got my borescope. Let's put the borescope in there. Let's get that hooked up. Oh, there it is, finally. Jesus. So I had this connected, my borescope. It's a dipstick brand. Is that Focus? Dipstitch. I don't know, some Amazon purchase. But like anything Bluetooth, it's a pain in the ass to connect on one try. And I had it going, and it was just glitchy. It was there's a screen, okay. But it's like fucking dial-up connection. Okay, there we go. You see that? And just see how it's not a smooth. It's very glitchy, but I don't know. I had it in the cylinder, and the picture just froze. I played with this in the house, so it worked good, but I don't know. Let's try again. I don't know. I've used it before in the house. Everything was fine, but keeps saying device disconnected, so I don't have time for this. You know, remember that nice sunny day? It's now become a nice cloudy day. So, feels like it's gonna rain. Like that. Anyway, let me get this compression test going. I'm going to disconnect the coil and just work down the bank with my compression gauge. Alright, gauge is on. Everything you got is wide open throttle. So wide open throttle, no ignition. Let's go see what this does. It would help if I had the keys. Boy, those starters sound funny with nothing. 1. Is that 10? What would that be? 100. Well, those increments of 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 would be 20. Does that 8 mean 18? I don't know. We'll just make a note of that and move on. Alright, after looking at that, that was like 112, 115. Ooh, a lot more here, baby. 125. Interesting. Let's do it twice. I should have done that. Yeah, that one's even higher. Alright, here's the consensus, folks. I went back to number 5 again because I've had 105 on that first run. Now we're up to like 112, 115. But I think the cylinders are probably getting wet with fuel because the second pass always seems to be. So 115, 130, 130, 115 on that second pass. 112, 115, 130, 135. So, and then now I did the number 2 cylinder here. It was bleeding down. It was 115, and you could watch the needle drop below 100. So, something's not holding valve or piston rings. Now I can add a little bit of oil to the cylinders and do another pass at this. Let's see if I have an oil. You just want to do like a tablespoon. Going through with the oil test here. The back cylinders are good. They're up around 150. The other one went up to 155 with oil. I'd say that was 45 and it's dropping now. See how it's, I believe it's dropping. Let's see, is it holding? Yeah, it's holding a little bit. All right. This is number 4. Was at 130 prior. No change. This is the number 2 cylinder. This is how I've been filling it, just with oil. I just got an oil jug here with hose on it. Give it a couple squeezes. Four revolutions is a sweet spot. This one was at 115 and it was bleeding off before. And as you can see, we're about doing the same. It's dropping. So that's my both front cylinders actually. And when I did the other side, same thing. So the two, number 1 and number 2, both bleed off. Interesting. Now that would say, right, there's a problem between the two.
All right, guys, this is just going to be a coincidence. A leak down test would tell you properly. This is just my gauge is losing pressure,
Is it related to
not the engine, because the pressure's already in the gauge.
something? All right, we're going to move on. I just need to get these plugs in. We did R45TS's, Delcos. They're all gapping at, they're below, they might be at 35. I don't know what they are, but it's interesting. My spark plug test, gapper, it goes 44, 45, 50. It doesn't even go that low. I thought that was interesting. This is how you adjust it. It's going to go wider. And then I'm going to go 45 because I think I read that for HEI was a good number. Anti-seize too. Put little anti-seize on the threads. And be careful tightening, especially with a header situation. If you have the socket at an angle, you crack the porcelain, you're looking at a misfire. It's just a dab of this poison ivy, we call it. I call it. Because it gets fucking everywhere, like poison ivy. Oh, I do got it. Good, good. This is a spark plug tap for the threads. This number 2 cylinder spark plug's only going in 2 threads and it gets tight. And I noticed that when I pulled it out. I was like, ooh, it's not in all the way. So put a little oil on these threads and tap that out. Oh, thank God for that tool. Jesus. Those threads were fucked up, and it's all because of the headers. You can't get a straight shot. So I think somebody had the spark plug at an angle. Woo! All right, starting to rain. Let's get this other side in. Ay, ay, ay. Now, how about a quick flat rate animal story? Working flat rate. Time is money. So whatever you can do to cut time, get the next job, depending how busy you are. We used to take our air ratchets and put spark plugs in. Take them out, put them in, just save half a second. Unbelievable. Flat rate turns you into an animal. I mean, granted, you break a plug, you go get one from the parts department. Not the end of the world, but just some of the things you do. It's just crazy. I mean, sometimes we had a special ratchet that was weak, air ratchet. It would save just for stuff like that. So I wouldn't say we're using full force. I got to retap this front number 1 over here too, because the same thing. It's because of the angle of the header. Somebody has done some thread damage. Damn. Can't even get the socket on this one. I'm having to do this by hand. The wrench. Crazy. Yeah, whoever makes these headers are fucking should be shot. Nothing is actually like big spark plugs go right into the side of them. You can't get a socket on them. I'm assuming they're just cheap headers. They're leaking too. Look at that. It's got like a cork gasket. Pull the piece out on the other side. You can see that. It's like cork and some just broke off. I don't know. Headers are a pain in the ass for that reason. They always leak. This has got 12.5 bolts on. Well, not here because of my brackets, but the other side is you can't get a socket on those either. You really need a Allen head. I think a good kit, a header kit, will have Allen head bolts. That way you can get on there. All right, put that temp sensor I just knocked off on, and I think we're good. All right, let's see how she starts. I'm a little flooded. Choke, it is a little chilly out. Fuel down in there and oil in those cylinders. Choke, come on. Look at this, huh? Stepped up on the first tier. I hope. It's a ride, and that's it, folks. Hope you learned something.